Hello, Rim of the World Mountain Communities. It is Tuesday, July 12th, 2022, and that means that it's time for your weekly real estate market update. Welcome to this week's real estate market update. I'm your realtor, Theresa Grant, and if you're new to the channel, it would mean the world to us if you would please tap that big red subscribe button, and while you're at it, hit the bell next to it to enable notifications so you get alerted whenever we publish new videos designed to help you stay informed about our local real estate market, just like this one. All right, the time is here to talk about this past week in real estate here in our Rim of the World Mountain Communities. Let's dive right in. So the very first market area we're going to talk about is Lake Arrowhead all areas. What do we mean by all areas? Well, Lake Arrowhead isn't just Arrowhead Woods, which has lake rights for private Lake Arrowhead. It also encompasses the surrounding areas such as Twin Peaks, Crest Estates, Crest Forest, Blue Jay, Skyforest, Arrowhead Villas, Deer Lodge Park, and all points in between. So that gives us a nice big picture of what the market in general for that particular geographic area is doing. So as you can see by looking at the data here, in all areas this week, there were 232 active listings on the market. That's actually quite a bit, but I want to caution you as we look at and consider more of these numbers this week, we are still historically at only roughly 30% of the inventory that we were prior to 2020. So we are still down almost 60% in terms of inventory and market activity overall. And that actually does make an impact on the market. We're going to talk about that shortly. Anyway, back to the numbers. There are 232 active listings on the market, so 232 properties available for sale right now in the Lake Arrowhead area at large. In the past 7 days, 7 properties closed escrow. There are now 33 properties currently in escrow, and there's nothing coming soon. As a reminder, coming soon is a status in the MLS that means that the property is listed for sale, but we are not actively able to show it yet. So right now, everything that is available on the market is actually available to be shown because we have no coming soons. I'd also like to mention before we go on that all of our data comes from the local Association of Realtors. That's Rim of the World Association of Realtors. As always, I'm a big believer that real estate is local. Yes, we can get the data for almost every market across the United States, and I could probably speak of it with a bit of confidence. But when it comes to actual real estate, nobody is better than your boots on the ground local realtor. Let's move on to actual Arrowhead Woods. Now, Arrowhead Woods, as we all know, is the geographic area that has lake rights for private Lake Arrowhead. Looking at the numbers for Arrowhead, all areas, the whole geographic area, we're going to see that just like in prior weeks, Arrowhead Woods is predominantly supplying those numbers. In Arrowhead Woods in the past week, we've had 171 active listings. In the past 7 days, 6 properties closed escrow. We have 27 properties in Arrowhead Woods actually in escrow at this time and no coming soons. So pretty much Arrowhead Woods is still leading the way, leading the charge in the whole Arrowhead Woods market, or I'm sorry, in the whole Lake Arrowhead market area. Moving on to Crestline, there are 91 active listings in Crestline right now. In the past 7 days, 4 properties closed escrow, so 4 new owners are getting their keys in Crestline. 31 properties in escrow. Crestline is actually performing very, very well, and 1 property coming soon. When I say that an area is performing very well, what that means is that we're seeing a nice, healthy market where there's not a big disparity between what's available for sale and what is actually going under contract. Let's go further up the mountain to the other side, a little bit higher in elevation. Let's talk about Running Springs for a moment. This week, there are 72 active listings in Running Springs. In the past 7 days, we've had 4 properties close escrow. There are 15 properties currently in escrow, and there's 1 property in Running Springs coming soon, meaning that it's listed for sale, but we're not able to show it yet. And let's go ahead and take a look at the statistics for Green Valley Lake, which is between Running Springs and then right before you start the rest of the way going up Highway 18 towards Big Bear. Green Valley Lake has 19 properties actively listed for sale. In the past 7 days, 2 properties have closed escrow. There are exactly 2 properties in escrow under contract and no coming soons. Here's your market health update for the week, just taking a look at comparisons. At this point in time, the active listings days on market is going up. It's creeping upwards. Before we were at 48, we're now at 52 on average. The active listings price per square foot, however, this is asking price per square foot, has gone up. We're now at $421 asking a square foot. For the closed listing, so anything that's closed escrow, we take a look at how many days on market it was before it went under contract and went hard pending. We're up a little bit. We were at 16 days. We're now at 18 days. And for the closed listings price per square foot, where it's settling out, we're at $410. So if you take a peek at where we've settled out at $410, but our active properties are on average asking a higher price per square foot, that means that the market still believes that we're in a more of a seller's market, as demand is still outpacing supply. We're going to come back to that in just a moment because I have a little bit of my perspective that I want to share with you about the market fluctuation and the whole seller's market, neutral market, buyer's market. But hold on, because that is all tied into what's happening elsewhere on the market. This is the first time I've done this in quite a while for our market updates. I want to talk to you about expired listings. Expired listings are exactly what they sound like. There was a contract for it to be listed for sale, and for whatever reason, the property did not sell, so the contract expired and is no longer available. If we go back from, say, 91 to 110 days ago, during that time period, only 1 property expired. In the 61 to 90 days, we had 2. In the 31 to 60 days time period, we had 8. But in the past 30 days, we've had 16. When we start to see a rise in expired listings, properties that have failed to sell for whatever reason, and we're still seeing a higher price per square foot and a creeping upwards in terms of what people are asking, that tells us that the market is settling down. Now, over the past couple of years up here, we have seen not only, well, here on the mountain, but also just in general, we've all heard the stories about how, oh my gosh, real estate is red hot. As soon as you put a sign in the yard and put it in the MLS, by the close of the day, you're gonna have multiple offers and people just begging to buy the house. It's gonna put the price up like way over ask. We know what that market was. That was an extremely sellers driven market. But what we're seeing is that out of the expired listings that have basically, well, lost their mojo on the market, failed to sell, what we're seeing is that that is actually happening more on the higher end of the price point for the area than anywhere else. In fact, the average list price for those expired listings has been just a little bit over $1.2 million. So here is the thing, looking at these numbers. If you're thinking about selling your home, sellers, I want to caution you. And it's not a bad caution, but I want you to understand that the market is moving. And frankly, I'm still thrilled to see the market moving, because the sooner that we get more towards a neutral or a balanced market, I think the happier everybody's going to be, not just in terms of real estate, but in terms of the economy at large. But that's a completely different question or a completely different topic to address later. Listen. Compared to this time, even a year ago, we're seeing buyers are negotiating. They're negotiating repairs. They're negotiating credits. They are willing to cancel escrow instead of just saying, oh my gosh, please, can I have this house? I'll do whatever you want. I will give you whatever concessions you want. No, buyers are now looking at everything in a very savvy way. What this indicates is a march towards more of a balance of attitude and a willingness to wait, along with the confidence that another house will come on market that will work for them. Now look, every house is special according to its seller, but to a buyer, there is a lack of emotional history tied to the house. So what that means is when, say for example, I meet with you and I give you the numbers. Here's the high number that we can possibly get for your house. Here's the market value, here's the low number, and then you say to me, but Theresa, this house has had this improvement, this improvement, this improvement. I've raised my kids here, or, you know, my dog had puppies over in that corner, or there's so many just great memories tied to this house. That's fantastic because that's part of your life. But buyers coming to the market looking for a home, they're envisioning their life. So what we have to do as we look at a balancing market is we have to think in terms of making pricing that is acceptable to the buyers coming out to the market to meet their expectations for how they envision living in the home. When you couple that with the fluctuating interest rates and a couple different strategies for marketing properties right now, what we have is, again, as I mentioned earlier, buyers willing to negotiate. If you want top dollar for your home and you're thinking about selling that property, and you price it at top dollar, you are going to have that long market time because the demand is just, I'm not saying it's disappearing, but instead of having one buyer for, instead of having like 20 buyers for every one house, there's maybe 3 buyers for every one house in terms of the competition. So you need to price appropriately and you need to make sure that your house is in the best possible condition, whether that means making some cosmetic repairs, making some physical repairs if you can, or even just sprucing up the staging. That's what's going to get you the best possible dollar in terms of the buyer walking in. You know what else is going to get you the best possible dollar? A professional realtor. Right now, whenever a market shifts, you need a realtor who is going to exhibit skills and market savvy. It takes more than putting a sign in the yard and putting the property in the MLS, sitting back and saying, okay, bring me an offer. No, you need a realtor who knows the market, knows the area, has the relationships with other realtors, has the relationships with buyers already in their database that they can reach out to and say, hey, I've got a property for you. I think you might want to come see it before everybody else does. And of course, you need somebody who has the experience and the expertise to negotiate just as hard for you as you would want them to. You don't want a realtor who's going to roll over and go, you know, whatever. No, you want somebody who you can hire, who you will trust to tell you the truth at all times. So if you're thinking about selling your home, I would encourage you to definitely reach out to 2 or 3 local realtors, interview them, ask them questions, go beyond the fluff and ask them the real market data, and then ask them what their approach is to it and what they're going to do with it. That's my free advice for the day. And with that, that pretty much wraps up this week's market update for the Rim of the World Mountain Communities real estate market. Once again, I'm your realtor, Theresa Grant. If you have any questions about real estate, whether it's our local market, a specific part of our local market, or anything related to real estate in general, go ahead and leave a comment or send me a DM. We actually answer every single comment and every single DM. And whether we're reaching you through any of our social media platforms, whether that is YouTube, Instagram, LinkedIn, Spotify for our podcast, or Facebook, or even Nextdoor, don't be afraid because we are here for you. My name is Theresa Grant. I'm a local realtor and I love to talk about real estate, especially with you. I hope you have a great week. Bye for now. That's a wrap for this podcast episode of Real Talk with Theresa Grant Realtor. You can find more content on the web at www.homesinlakearrowhead.com, on my YouTube channel, Theresa Grant Realtor, over at Instagram as Theresa Grant Realtor, and on Facebook as Lake Arrowhead's Realtor. Be sure to tell a friend about this podcast because I love talking about real estate, and the more the merrier. Thanks for listening, and I can't wait until next time. Bye for now.